Ancient Egypt Geography and Nile by Matthew Joe
Antony.
The Nile. The impact of the Nile. The Nile impacted the Egyptian people in a lot of good and bad ways. The Nile was also one of the main reasons people settled around Egypt because the Nile provided food, water, and irrigation for crops. Also, one of the most important things was that it provided a good trade route for the Egyptians and it helped the Egyptian economy thrive. Finally, the Nile also had a bad impact because even though the Nile would help the crops, sometimes it would ruin the crops. And if it got that bad, some people would drown, all from the Nile's flooding. Before we move on, we're going to discuss the pictures and I have a question. Do you think the Nile should be used for all of this stuff or should it be limited?
I will explain the photo. This photo shows Egyptian farmers farming wheat, which was the most popular farming crop in ancient Egypt back then. You can also see the irrigation, like the water irrigation. I forgot what their name is. Yeah, the irrigation system. That's how they got their farm. And the Nile is right there in the back. That's the Nile Valley in the back.
Next, agriculture around the Nile. You might think that people only settled on the Nile for water to drink and bathing, but actually, one of the main reasons is that the Nile helped a lot of farmers grow successful crops to make a lot of money. Even though it rained only a little bit in Egypt, farmers still found a way to use the Nile to help water the crops. One of the most efficient ways the crops got watered was by using the Nile's flooding. Every year before the Egyptian farmers harvested their crops, and then after they harvested their crops, they waited for the flood to finish. And when the flood finished, the farmers would plow their land to spread the seeds around the rich, moist soil. And after agriculture started to advance, the Nile became more useful. And that is why ancient Egypt's economy used to thrive during its time.
This picture shows Egyptian farming wheat again. But the most important part of this photo is the mini scythe. The scythe was first saw used in ancient Egypt. That's the most important part of how they farmed.
Now we'll explain travel and trade along the Nile. The Nile was a big part of how people distributed their goods through trade. The Nile helped people trade because it provided a good trade route that led to many civilizations like Lebanon, Canaan, and Nubia. It also helped the people travel because it gave a good current to the wooden and reed boats used to travel along. That used to travel along. The Egyptians traded stuff like copper, steel, gold, and other goods such as food and water that the Nile provided. The people also used to travel along the currents to other places to sometimes take over more territory and take over more civilization.
This shows the boats used in ancient Egypt. The boats used in ancient Egypt were made out of reed or wood. I can't tell you what this photo is supposed to represent, reed or wood, but this can give you about an idea of what they used to travel and also trade. These little crates you might see is also where they stored, that's where they stored certain stuff they're trying to trade or bring to other countries so it doesn't fall out the boat.
Geography. About ancient Egypt's location. Ancient Egypt was located in northeastern Africa, and because of its location, it had several advantages to other kingdoms during its time. Ancient Egyptians had easy access to water because of the Nile route. Mediterranean Sea and Red Sea. They also had a lot of rich soil. This is because when the Nile River flooded, farmers will always wait after the flood to grow more crops because the soil near the Nile River will be so rich. It is also one of more advantage which I will talk more about in depth later. Another thing, they also had larger territory. With more territory equals more room to produce more crops and overall more living space. To give you an example of how much more territory they had, I have one picture to show the Old Kingdom and Middle Kingdom's territory. Also, I have a picture of Egypt below that's showing it now. What can you tell is the difference now?
So, this is the old kingdom and the middle kingdom at the very top. I do not have a picture of the new kingdom, but the new kingdom spanned it way more. It had way more land. It was bigger than this. The new kingdom spanned it all the way up. But what I can tell you here, they had all the land going down the whole Nile River. Now, today, they do not own all the Nile River Valley land. They only own the part of land in their territory. Now, they do not own all that land.
The Nile Delta. The Nile Delta was a delta in lower Egypt where the Nile spreads out and it empties into the Mediterranean Sea. The delta covered around 240 kilometers of the Mediterranean coastline. The delta spread approximately 160 kilometers from Alexandria in the west to Port Said in the east. Also, it was a rich agriculture region where farmers could grow good crops. The delta was a place where the people slash farmers lived for thousands of years. It was a significant part of the people's lives.
So as you can see on the top shows all the delta and where the civilizations are around it. You can see that it connects to the Nile and then it empties out into the Mediterranean Sea. Usually this part was where people like to settle because around it, since there was so much water and it used to flood a lot more, people used to settle around it for the rich soil that was produced so that they could grow successful crops. Also here you can see how big the delta was. That you can see it's like the part where it empties out is bigger and the Nile connects all the way up there.
How ancient Egypt was protected. Ancient Egypt was known as one of the most protected kingdoms in its span. You might ask how. It was protected by several different geographical zones surrounding Egypt. For example, two major geographical zones protecting Egypt were the Western Desert and Eastern Desert. Armies did not want to walk in these hot and fierce deserts. These fierce deserts were known for the Egyptian cobra. Also, it was hot, 104 degrees type hot. You might get it now why army struggle to attack Egypt. Right here on the top is it will give you an idea of how much desert covered ancient Egyptian land. Also below is a photo. It's a photo of the Egyptian cobra. Up here, you can see how much Egypt is desert. On top of here, you can see all this land, pretty much all their land is desert. Well, as you saw in a few photos back, the Nile Valley is mostly grass, but it doesn't show nothing here. Below is the Egyptian culture. Below is the Egyptian cobra. What you can tell, it does look like a king cobra, but the only difference is that their venom is really different. The
Hold the
Egyptian
mic.
culture is more different.
Hold the mic close, okay? Yeah.
Also, you might think that this snake is like the king cobra, but this snake is way venomous and it's way more dangerous than if you go across the king cobra.
The pyramids of Giza. What before I start, I have a question to ask you. I know everybody has heard of the conspiracy theories about how Egyptian pyramids were built. I want to ask y'all first before I start. What do y'all think how the Egyptian pyramids were built? What is y'all ideas about how it was built?
I just saw a little something in a book that I read, and it said that they like spent months of like gathering materials and building the pyramids like one by one.
Yeah. Alright. Now, I have also one. Oh, Sam. I know some of y'all heard of the pyramids probably being built by some like supernatural being, but I'll tell you